Grand Rising, everybody. Today is now day 7 of week 3. So we are just about to be getting into our 4th week here, and we're already painting, so this is good news. With that being said, I will not be continuing the cabinets today just because I want to make sure they fully cure. I know that they're probably good enough to continue them today, but I'm going to kind of just let them seal because it's a melamine paint, so it hardens as time goes on. So I want to make sure that they're really like set in there and ready to be getting their second coat. So it's a possibility I might do inside here and this area here, but other than that, we're going to be focusing on doing the accent wall today and possibly the dinette as well. So I got to get off the hardware here on the wall that supports the kitchen table, the blinds, the speaker, and that quarter round up there needs to come down because that's not staying, so as well as this one here. And then I'm going to be probably taking off the trim for the window. It makes the most sense, and hopefully it's not super difficult to get off. Should be pretty easy, but just like all the other ones. But first step is to get all that hardware off. Second will be to sand it all down, then wash it, make sure it's not dusty, and then get that first coat on. So I'm excited to see how the yellow looks on this wall with the cabinet paint in, and the dinette will probably also get done today too, so I think it'll look pretty different when you walk in with that being yellow and this being the new off-whitish color and everything just looking fresh. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and with that being said, let's get all of this stuff off and get that sanding done and get that paint on the wall. So we're not going to waste any more time talking. Let's do it. Alright guys, so all the hardware is off, the blinds are off, the window frame is off, and with that being said, when I took the window frame off, I was met with a less than pleasant surprise. I'm not sure if you guys recall, but there used to be a leak here, like a small leak, and as you can see, I've taken the wall off because I was greeted with some unfavorable wood conditions. It was very wet. I managed to clean it up pretty quickly, and so there's no leak on the edges here, but I'm assuming that there was a leak up here somewhere, or possibly up there, because even though this is all dry, this was trapped moisture pretty much all this area. Can't really see that. There we go. So this was a lot of trapped moisture. You can see the water stains. It's all dry though here. I've taken off a good layer of the wall, and then it was really wet like right here down, and then it was wet down there as well, and I actually had to scrape out some of the floor because it was wet. So I'm not sure if that's new or not. We've just had like an insane amount of rain. With that being said, the shower's not leaking, and that was soaking wet too, so I think it's just a lot of trapped old trapped moisture from some leak that used to exist before I sealed everything, and before I sealed everything we had gotten a lot of rain too, so it could be really old as well as some new but not like super recent. since I've sealed everything, everything's been really dry. So down there was a bit of a surprise because the floor was a bit wet, but I think it's just this moisture making its way down. I didn't see any new leak on the wall since it's been raining this entire time, and there wasn't any puddle or anything like that, so I'm assuming it's just old moisture showing its face. Finally, so I got all that cleaned up. I know you can't really see that. Let me see if I can get a light. So, yeah, that's all done. You can see where I scraped away the floor, and then there's the metal bar there. So I'm gonna be sealing all of that. I'm gonna go to the hardware store, get some more like spray sealant, do all the seams, as well as caulk all the edges here, and the edges around this where the gas tank thing is. Just fill all that up, fill up the seam on the side, on the bottom, on the sides, and then just monitor it as time progresses. When we get more rain, I'm sure we'll be getting more. It's been raining like crazy, so. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing under there. I already checked with like the paint scraper thing, the metal paint scraper, to see like, to push it to the end and see if there was any give or anything like that, and everything looks really good. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that as an extra measure of caution. But as you know, it's almost impossible to start a project without something getting in the way. So the painting of this wall is going to have to hang on a little bit, because this one has to get replaced, which I will be using this as a template. But yeah, it's just gonna take a little bit of time, extra time, but all that's off. So I'm gonna sand what's there right now while this is drying. Then I'm gonna go to the hardware store and get the spray sealant and whatever else I need, prep this wall, make this cut, put it back on, and then we'll see if we can get to painting this wall today. I'm hoping we can, but yeah, you never know. There's always something, man, I swear. Like little projects are always met with resistance these days, so must be the stars. Anyway, we're gonna take care of this and then we'll be back. Okay, so the walls are sanded. This one, I have made the cut for this wall and I've sanded that as well. And I've also run a beam of silicone, like rubber sealer, all the way across the entire perimeter of the window, as well as down there. I know you can't see that once again. Perhaps you can see that. I don't know. It was a bit tough getting in there, but I'm going to the hardware store and I'm gonna get some spray sealant, like Flex Seal or something like that, and I'm just gonna spray all the seams, the entire surface of it, just like I did over there, and it worked really well. So I also did it over there too, so definitely worth getting that. And I have the fan on this. This is like 90% dry already. The surface is dry. I just feel like if you dig deeper into the wood, it's probably a little saturated, but it's not like crazy soft or anything. And yeah, everything is relatively good. I'm gonna get that other wall on there at some point, but I think I'm going to leave it off for today, just to make sure that everything is dry before I seal it up again. And then I'll probably paint this wall tomorrow once I verify that that's not an issue. But it's a possibility that I may do the walls that are already on and then just save that piece for tomorrow, but I feel like it would just be best if I just waited. But we'll see how I choose to spend my time. Maybe I'll paint the dinette today, but I'm really not sure yet. And I could also paint this wall, but I have it taped off for the cupboards rather than the wall, and I'd have to take all of these off too. So I think I'm just gonna wait, do this, and then start with the dinette and then work my way back. So I'm gonna go to the hardware store, get that sealant, and then we'll see what we do from there. Okay, so now that this is all sealed and I got my spray sealant, you can probably see it. I've sealed all of the seams in the wood. The first coat is on, and I'm gonna be putting a second coat. Once this dries, it takes a little while though, but you can already tell, at least when you touch it, that everything is kind of uniform now. That's still wet, but it has a nice waterproof coating, and it should keep any leaks out if for some reason there were to be one in the future. But this water is definitely old because I had a leak here before I sealed the outside, and then once I sealed it, it went away. So it's all taken care of from the exterior. It is actually raining right now as well too, so slightly. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave the fan on it overnight, let it all dry, come out in the morning, see how it's doing. If it rains and it's dry, then we'll know for sure. But if it doesn't rain, then I'll just take the hose to it tomorrow and see what we get. So it should be fine. It's probably another shower situation where it's just trapped moisture from a previous leak before I sealed everything. I'm glad I caught it, and I'm really happy that the wood's not rotted. It's in pretty good condition still. So with that being said, that's pretty much it for tonight. There's not a whole lot left in terms of getting this ready. I already sanded the wall. I'm just gonna have to wash it before I paint it, but I'm leaving this piece off before overnight, and then tomorrow, if everything's good, we'll put it on, get it all nailed in, and then we'll paint that whole wall. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting the paint on and moving away from having to correct another leak, so to speak. More just trapped water in the wall, but it's good to find them now while I'm still working through everything, so I can fix it rather than it just being there and causing problems later down the line when I'm actually living in here. So I would much rather this scenario than something when I'm on the road and there's like a smell or a leak or something like that. So definitely happy to fix this before the paint goes on too, which is a big one. So yeah, we're gonna just see how that goes. Most likely the wall's gonna go on tomorrow, And then we'll get the paint on and get that first coat. Hopefully we can just finish this whole wall tomorrow, like multiple coats. It shouldn't take too long to dry, maybe a couple hours between coats. And we can just kind of put everything back on and then get the dinette done afterward. So I think it's going to be pretty smooth sailing once this is all fixed in terms of getting the paint done for this. The cabinets are obviously the hardest part to paint, just because it's so many corners, so many edges. Got to do the inside, the outside, the bottom, all that stuff. So doing the flat surfaces, the walls, the dinette will be probably second hardest to do, but they're small for the most part, like relatively small, and there's not too many edges. And I got smaller rollers now too, so I can do the trim on them pretty quickly, and I think it'll go by smoothly. So I'm also gonna paint the hardware for the table. I'm gonna paint them yellow as well, just so they're just not just these black squares sitting on the wall, and they'll just blend in a lot better. But I'm gonna put on another coat before I go inside, let that dry, and probably do another one tomorrow morning, and then stick the wall on. And after we determine that there's no water coming in, and then move on from there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It didn't really go as planned to any degree, really, because I never even got to open this can of paint. And I took a piece of the wall off, which I never was planning on doing, but the hardware's off, the window trim's off, the blinds are down, the walls are sanded, so the prep work is finished. We just had a little interruption here, but you know, what can you do, right? Like, you just gotta deal with it. So I already took care of that spot. It makes sense that this spot did the same thing, like right at the bottom where the seams meet. I don't know why, but it does that, or it did that. It was letting water in there, but this one's all dried now, and it's been raining like crazy. So if that one's good, then I have faith that this one will be good as well. So we're gonna take care of this, finish it off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.